featuring the revolutionary in-movie experience, the Car Finder game. By selecting the Car Finder game, you'll load an interactive interface that allows you to search for cars hidden throughout the movie. When you see one of the cars on screen, navigate over and select it quickly to find that car and score points. And when there are just too many cars to find, the scene will actually come to a stop, and you'll have to search around the screen to find all the cars. So, how well do you know cars? In this level, you'll have to pick out the correct car from the incorrect ones. For every car you find, you'll unlock that car from the car guide. Just select one, and you'll hear his personal story, get 360-degree turnarounds, and more. See if you can find all 217 hidden cars, all while watching the movie. And with persistent memory, you can even eject the disc and come back later to continue where you left off the next time you want to play. So check out the all-new edition of Cars, coming to Blu-ray disc this fall.
Brian thought it would be fun to sell antenna balls at the racetrack for a summer. The problem is that summer was 10 years ago. He had hoped to start seriously pursuing his singing career in September, but one thing led to another and his part-time job became his career. Brian does enjoy the excitement of the racetrack though, and sometimes when he's shouting out, "Get your antenna balls here," over the roaring crowds, he likes to imagine he's belting out a classic show tune over the cheers of his adoring fans. Dan Sklarkenberg knows news, and knowing news like Dan knows news allows Dan to cruise for new news that might not be known. Naturally, knowing news as soon as Dan knows news puts him in the know, and since he knew it when it was new, and is thus able to report it in the now, then yes, Dan knows news. Lightning is built for speed and has just two things on his mind: winning and the perks that come with it. In his fast-paced life, he has little time for anything or anyone. But who needs friends when you've got a stadium full of fans? Endless days on the road and sleepless nights crisscrossing the country? For some, this life would quickly grow old. But not Mac, no sir. Mac knows how important his role is. He's driving Lightning McQueen, the world's fastest race car. He's part of a team, and everybody knows there's no I in team. Just like there's no I in Mac. His name is not Chuck, not Chucky, not Chuck Meister, not Chaz, not Chet, not Charlie, and not Charles. He's a firm believer that a racer is only as good as his tires are fresh, so his motto is, change them early and change them often. Chuck Armstrong Armstrong is the toughest kid in the racing business. Last season, while suffering from a worn-out clutch, he got back on the track and bump-started himself all the way to victory lane. You can never count Chuck out, not if he's still got some engine left. Brian thought it would be fun to sell antenna. Slider Petrolski's parents named him Slider after his uncle, famed dirt track racer Slide Powers, who graced the gritty, makeshift tracks of the late 40s. Aspiring to his namesake, Slider started racing at an early age. He challenged postal trucks, taxis, delivery vans, and all varieties of unsuspecting pedestrian motorists. He even raced a police car, but only once. Some would say that leakless adult dripping pans is not a prestigious sponsor, but Claude Scruggs would disagree. He's been the number 52 yellow, black, and white for more than 2 decades, and he wears the leakless logo with pride. His fan base might be a bit older, but thanks to the automotive boom of the late 1940s, there are a lot of them, and their enthusiasm for the sport and for Scruggs is so intense they can barely contain themselves. Chick Hicks is a racing veteran with a chip on his shoulder, a ruthless competitor who's cheated his way into more second-place finishes than any other car. He's been counting down the seasons to the King's retirement so that he can take over the coveted Dynaco sponsorship. But he never expected such fierce competition from hotshot rookie Lightning McQueen. Mater's a good old boy with a big heart, and the only tow truck in Radiator Springs. He runs Tow Mater's Towing and Salvage and manages the local impound lot. Though a little rusty, he has the quickest tow rope in Carburetor County, and is always the first to lend a helping hand. Mater sees the bright side of any situation. He's the heart and soul of Radiator Springs, and he doesn't have a mean bolt in his chassis. From an early age, DJ, whose full name is Devin Montgomery Johnston III, was interested in all kinds of music. He had a voracious appetite for collecting records and was a gifted student at the nationally renowned East Coast Music Conservatory. One evening at a friend's party, Devin met a gentleman by the name of Wingo. An expert in paint and body modification, Wingo designed a custom paint job for Devin and a wicked sound system to match. Now going by the name DJ, Devin revels in his treble, but never loses touch with his bass. Snotrod took his doctor's advice and headed west to find some clean, crisp mountain air to relieve his chronic allergies. On the way, he met up with Boost, DJ, and Wingo. The highly modified car group made him the gang's head of security and crowd control. He still has allergies and explosive sneezing attacks, but his ability to clear the road of pesky traffic is unmatched and much appreciated by his buddies, who like the road all to themselves. Like his boss Luigi, Guido is an avid Ferrari racing fan who dreams of performing a real pit stop on a real race car. To better prepare himself, he practices tire changes at night on wooden practice frames he built in his garage. One of these days, he hopes to set a new world record for the fastest pit stop of all time. But until that happens, he continues his quest to further enlighten himself. Currently, Guido is reading Tire Changes for the Soul, and 4 tires, 1 goal. Luigi runs the local tire shop in Radiator Springs, Luigi's Casa della Tires. If you're going to be driving through this world, why not look good doing it? That's Luigi's motto. Cars may not get to choose their body type, but they all have a choice when it comes to the tires they wear. Luigi offers the finest selection of tires west of the Mississippi, and Luigi's Casa della Tires is known far and wide for its impeccable service, competitive prices, and of course, its very stylish proprietor. Al is high on life. As an endorsement billboard in the sky for the Lightyear Tire Company, proud sponsor of the Piston Cup, he loves to provide those grand images high above the track. He's just happy that his job sends him to great sporting events because he always has the best seat in the house. TJ Hummer comes from a long line of military vehicles, but growing up in the gated communities and private schools of Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, TJ's idea of off-roading was going over potholes on Woodward Avenue. An aspiring rapper, TJ likes looking tough, without scratching his paint or getting dirt in his rims. But that all changed when his father signed him up at Sarge's Boot Camp for urban SUVs. Barney Storman is a professional skyrider. His job not only requires aerobatic skill and relatively low winds, but most importantly, good spelling. Because as Barney likes to say, there's no eraser in the sky. Charlie Checker is the Piston Cup official pace car. Charlie wears his amber lights with pride. He's no horsepower champ, but he doesn't mind. After all, he's always in the lead and nobody passes him. And that is exactly how he likes it. The smoky-voiced Corey Turbowitz started her career off as a voicemail operator. But her delivery of, "You have 3 new messages," was spoken with such flair and irreverence that the next thing she knew, she was the #1 radio host in the Bay Area and one of the top Piston Cup reporters on television. Chick's loyal crew chief has been the #1 guy to the second-place race car for over 10 years, through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And with Chick, there's a lot of ugly. He longs for the day Chick wins a Piston Cup so that he'll no longer be the second-best crew chief on the circuit.